Ladies and gentlemen, your hosts, Michael Wilkes, Angel Ortiz, Dr. Chad, and Sam La Cavera. Go check out beardedbrowns.com and be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Enjoy the show.
Welcome, everybody, to the Bearded Browns podcast. So just real quick, fasten your seatbelts. The Browns just got grounded by the Jets by the score of 20-27. The offense never took off. The game plan was stuck right at the gate. The frustration has officially landed. Enough with these airport puns. We're about to talk about everything that went wrong in New York. The frustration is boiling over. Even for me, I asked myself today, is like, do I really want to do another podcast about how horrible this team is? But yet here I am. I'm committed, man. We're gonna show in and show out. But if you're currently listening to us, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let people know that we're on. We're gonna get right into it today. It's just a frustrating weekend. I'll tell you also why I'm frustrated, guys. Just a quick story. Sunday night, coming down after the Browns lose, getting ready for bed. Going over some stats, statistics, and being depressed because my Browns team lost. I hear my dryer on. I'm like, I was drying my hoodies, but that was like 5 hours ago. And I normally dry my hoodies on perm press because, I don't want them like soaking wet, but, I still hang dry them because, I don't want them to shrink. So I go in there and I see it on high heat. I said, babe, were you drying something? She said, yeah, the clothes in there were wet. I'm like, when did you start this? Oh, about like an hour and a half ago. So needless to say, I lost 4 hoodies on Sunday and I got to see my Browns lose a game.
Were they at least brown hoodies that you wanted?
No,
to
they're my
trash and
typical
burn anyway?
everyday hoodies that I wear. So I lost 4 of my favorite hoodies in one shot.
Now they're schmediums.
They can fit my daughter. That's how small they are. Either way. So I told her, I was like, I need to buy some more. Either way. So that added more to my frustration on Sunday night going to bed. But we're going to talk about this game. So tune in. Send us put us, comment. Let us know how frustrated you are. What you thought went wrong in this game. We're going to get right into the top story of the day. Non-Browns related, of course. Brian Daboll was fired by the New York Jets yesterday. It's kind of like a shocker in a way, but after the reports came out, you're like, oh, well, that makes sense because all this stuff there that led up to it. 33 winning percentage of .33 and 4 blown fourth quarter double-digit leads this year will get you fired. And yet here we are. We still have our coach who can't even score 15 points a game. Nonetheless, he's gone. This is the second coach that's gotten fired after drafting a rookie quarterback this year. You got the Callahan in Tennessee, and then him. And I wonder if the trend's going to continue with Kevin at the end of the year. That's why a lot of coaches don't like rookie quarterbacks, by the way. They'd rather go with the veteran that knows how to win right away because the hot seat is hot. It's going to get turned up with that rookie quarterback.
Quick thought. Yeah, I was going to say, the reason I think the hot seat, we've almost heard this from the owner of the Browns, that part of the reason they are kind of, they almost expected to be where they are in some areas, and why they haven't just fired everybody is they put themselves in this position without a quarterback and no easy way out of it. And they just feel like without the quarterback, you don't succeed. I think then you see these kind of examples where you add Cam Ward, the number 1 overall pick in the draft, and the very, very close to full consensus, like top quarterback in this draft to almost everybody. and then they don't win any games, and then you go like, oh, we were only, we were giving you the you don't have a quarterback excuse, and now you have one and you're failing. Similarly with Brian Daboll, it looks very clear to people, even though there's still going to be some questions of longevity, that Jackson Dart is doing enough to win games, and he's good enough to lead a team to winning. And then they don't win any games. You look at this situation here where they've had 4 different times this year where they've had a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter, and they blew it and lost that game. That's a situation where an owner or a GM, depending on how your setup is, looks at the head coach and goes, "You're in a position to win, and you're blowing it," and fired. I think you could make those same kind of arguments for Kevin. I just think when you look at Brian Daboll, like, we are very upset about the fact that Kevin is 43-53. That's a 45% win percentage. It's under
Yeah.
50, it's under 500. That sucks. And then you see this one is 0.33. It's 33% win percentage, and you're like, oh, that's way worse than 45. But neither are good enough. So um, he's
I
in.
got anything to say about Mr. Dable being gone? Are you shocked that they didn't give him a little more time? I feel like Jackson was still, even though you got a rookie quarterback, you would think on the double digits lead, you're probably understandable, but
I really don't have much to say on it, but think about it. They lost their running back, so all the fun and games were there. They were winning games, and as soon as he went down, boom, that's it.
yeah.
Everything was downhill from there. So
Unfortunately, another top story I just threw in there: Travis Hunter ends his season with knee surgery. A lot of people are debating if we won that trade or not. I think we were talking about this a little bit before. I think the reason why I put it in there kind of shows his durability is a concern, which was a talk about playing both sides, more snaps or more reps. Is he more heightened for injury? And I don't know if I think it's like a minor knee surgery. I think it's I forgot. You would know
An
more
LCL.
terminology than me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the LCL. It's the ligament on the outside of your knee. So not as long as a recovery timetable as an ACL. It can be a little bit chronic and irritated. That's what our linemen were going through. Jedrick Wills and Dewan Jones kept having like repeat LCL and MCL, the inside and the outside of the ligament of the knee injuries, and it can stay irritated. It can be problematic, but like it's not anywhere near the recovery timeline of an ACL. He'll be well ready to go to start next season. But I completely agree with your point. He's not the biggest guy on the planet. There was a worry. It sounded very clear from the Browns if they were going to take this guy, they were going to favor him as a receiver, and maybe he could do some spot duty at cornerback. The Jaguars took the opposite approach, man. They've had him out there a lot. They had him playing defense, which I think is the more physical spot for him, quite a bit. And then, like you mentioned, these types of injuries, like maybe if he was drafted by Cleveland, this injury never happens. Like he could have just taken a misstep, or somebody could have fell into his leg. Like that's unlikely to happen if he's in a different place at a different time. But if he's gonna be out there 100+ plays a game instead of the 60 of a normal player, you're just increasing the odds that something will happen to him. And he's not that big. And so this is the start of that. He's young, but this is the start of that first surgical injury. And it gives you pause when a 22-year-old has his first surgery already, and he's got a rough NFL career ahead of him. And he was
I'm not
drafted
gonna.
at that spot because he can do both things. And now the Jaguars have to immediately be thinking, is that too much?
Yeah. Mike, I remember you were concerned about his durability during the draft. It seemed like you
Uh,
were spot on about it.
Yeah, I didn't want him only because he wanted to play both positions. We all knew that, and the Jaguars were willing to clearly do that. They picked him up, so I'm not mad. And like Chad, we were all talking about before the show, is that actually what we would have done with him? We'll never know. I'm glad we don't know, because it's stuff like this that happens if you're going to play both sides of the ball. That was my biggest concern going into it. So I'm glad we didn't pick him up.
Yeah, and to
Yeah.
the main point, like if you're judging the trade right now, obviously the Browns have, a first round pick next year they haven't taken, and it's not as good as I think we all had hoped so far, but it'll still be a decent pick. And then you've got Judkins and Graham, who
Samson.
just maybe played his best game. At the moment, you have to say the Browns won that trade
Yeah,
pretty clearly.
for sure. On to some Browns talk. Paul DePodesta, source of everyone's issue with the Browns, is off to Colorado, not because of the legal substance that's allowed there, but because of the Rockies, the Colorado Rockies baseball team. He decided to jump ship and go back to baseball. This is it was surprising for me from the perspective of like I didn't think it would be done this mid-season, literally mid-season. And I'm also surprised by the response that it got.
The Browns is the Browns, Angel. Do you guys remember who said that?
That was Juju, right?
I think it was, yeah, Jamar Chase.
I think.
Oh, Chase. Oh, I thought that was Juju.
It was him or Higgins. It was one of them.
Yeah, it was
I think it was Jamar Chase.
It might be Chase. Yeah, but if you guys I can't read this too far because I don't have my glasses. What did he say? So he was in a press conference.
Yeah,
Chad
it's for the
can read it,
Rockies, but essentially a reporter asked him like, "Hey, now that you're now with the Browns, like, can you tell us a little bit about who actually picked Deshaun Watson?" And his response was, "Here's what I would say, and I truly believe this. I believe that most of the decisions, especially the big ones like that, are organizational decisions, right? I'm not a believer in a King Scout situation where there's one guy who makes every call. The jobs are too complex. The decisions are too hard. They impact too many different things. So I always think these sorts of collective decisions, it can be hard to get unanimous on those types of things. Everyone who is a part of that, we all own that. We just do. That's part of the deal."
Yeah.
I mean, he's been a topic of conversation the last couple of weeks, and this happened. So that's what we get to look forward to. And I'm kind of glad. And it was Juju. Thank you, Frank. I just looked that up. It was Juju Smith Schuster that said Browns is Browns.
I knew I was
you were
right,
Angel. You were on the right. Yeah.
So he said, "I am not a believer in King Scouting situation where there's one guy who makes every call."
Which
Honestly, I think this is the problem with the organization. I think sometimes they get too caught up in everyone's opinions, and I hate this collective agreement mentality. I think since Haslam has switched over, it has done nothing but made things worse.
the
I
problem
hope
with Haslam, though, is it felt like it used to be like when I hear this, I hear like, well, when we had John Dorsey, we let him make these big decisions on his own, and he made some wrong ones, right? So like they almost decided like we can't just have one guy make these calls. It affects too many of us. We all have to make it together. But then you hear the immediate thought that like pops in my head. The immediate thing that gave me some pause is, I always think these sort of collective decisions, it can be hard to get it unanimous, which almost immediately tells me something in that room with Deshaun Watson wasn't unanimous, but they essentially decided as a group, more people wanted to do it than didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
But I don't know why he would say that if there wasn't at least some people in the room that were like, we can do it, but it's not the route I would go. I mean, otherwise, why do you even bring that up?
I would think it would have to be from a money perspective. They probably thought, well, the talent's there. We just don't want to do the contract.
Well, we've heard this reported. We've talked about this on the show. We've heard it reported that Andrew Berry kind of was very interested in Deshaun, liked him coming out of the draft, brought up that they should inquire about the cost of him and look into that trade with the group. And then we also heard he was the one that thought the price was too high and dialed it back. But at that point, Haslam was too all in on it and said, we got to offer him whatever it takes to get here, get him here, whatever, however many picks, however much money, guarantee it if you have to. And so like I've been saying for a long time, the reason I think, because there's all those people that were like, oh, it was Kevin that made that call. Like, I don't believe Kevin has that level of power.
I think Kevin's probably,
they were probably like, can you work with this quarterback? He watched the film and said, yeah, I could work with him.
Well, also too, there was an agreement. A lot of people forget, like there was an agreement where Deshaun said, "Yeah, Kevin, I can play your system." But when
Yeah, I'll
Deshaun
do it.
came
Yeah,
here, and came here
didn't
and
want
was like, "No, I'm not doing it." So that's what screwed everything up. Is he committed with the
right.
money to run Kevin's system, and then
That's a
came
big
here
part
and
of it.
decided, "Yeah, I'm throwing it out. I'm throwing that. I'm not doing that. Not
I
doing
guess
that at
the only
all."
other side of my point was we've said a long time, like, I thought if it was Andrew Berry that drove this, pushed it, wanted to give him that much money, and not the one that said, "I think we're overpaying for this," he would be fired. But I think it was his pause saying, like, "I don't think we should pay that much." That is and Haslam pushing it is the reason they're not fired because Haslam goes, "I should have listened to my guys. I pushed to do this farther than they wanted to, and now we screwed it up. And had I, like, taken a step back, maybe we wouldn't be in this position." That's the only excuse I've ever had for why Barry wasn't fired before this draft, because I think Haslam was like he was the one saying, "I think this is too much, man. I think we're I think we're
Yeah.
overpaying for it." But
So, Mike, we're about to get into the next thing with Kevin and Dunn, but Mike, do you think Haslam's admitted it that basically it was his issue? He said we're gonna not base in more or less words after the Miami win before the bye week. He said, "No, Kevin's doing a good job. It's our fault. It's the organization's fault for putting him in the quarterback situation." Do you think, Mike, that he gets a pass this year one more time because of the Deshaun Watson thing?
We got to do better.
Gotta do better. Well, all right, you just gotta do better. No, I've been thinking that. I've been
by the way,
thinking
I
that.
don't think
I'm
I
wondering
don't
if
think
he's
there's
going to get
any way
another
you
year.
give him an automatic pass. What I think is if you give him the pass for Watson, that doesn't mean he's off the hook. If I'm the owner and I'm like, "Hey, I know you didn't really want to go. That's not your guy. Watson was never like your ideal choice. We gave him to you. Whatever." I don't know what the actual how in Kevin was, how much he was like, "I want this guy." But what I would say is you can still say, "Okay, we know we screwed you with the quarterback." Even if Deshaun hasn't played. It's not just that he's, like, the wrong quarterback in the wrong system, or he wasn't, like, the elite guy we were expecting. He hasn't even played. 15, 16 games in 5 years is he's not even out on the field. So I could see the owner saying, like, "Yeah, you're off the hook for the quarterback situation because, like, we kinda hamstrung you with that, and now you can't even have, like, you don't have Baker, you don't have him, you basically have nobody, but you can still judge him on other things, and they should be holding his feet to the fire saying, "But we expect the offense to look better. We expect this team to be more disciplined. We expect the players we gave you this year and last year to progress and become better under your coaches." Like, there are still things
I
you
am
can
so
hold them
far from
accountable.
a Kevin apologist this year. We know there's injuries. That's always a problem. The past 3 years, it's been a huge issue. Obviously, I am not giving him a pass this year. It's time to move on. Something has to give. Whether it's ownership, whether it's a GM, you start at the lowest end and you work your way up to the top, right?
Yeah, and I'm with you. I'm off the Kevin train, but the thing, thinking this through. If Kevin's in the room, he said, "Listen, guys, we've agreed to this, but he agreed to run my system, and he changed his mind. I haven't had a quarterback here consistently because of health or because of the inability to draft one because you guys put us in a position to get this quarterback that wanted to come in and not run the system I wanted. If you give me a typical quarterback that has run the system, Proof Baker, uh, Brissett, give you a couple more examples. Give me an actual quarterback in here. I can run my system." Do you think he has an argument there?
To an extent, yes. But you've had how many quarterbacks has he had under his belt now?
80,000. It seemed like
Sounds about
8,000.
My
right.
only
This
my
sounds
only
about 9
pushback on the
times.
amount of quarterbacks is, are there any of them that you would want here?
Not
Not
any
really.
no.
Baker
Even the guy that
Mayfield's
everybody keeps saying, like, is
Baker
his guy
Mayfield,
Dillon, like,
Jacoby Brissett.
yeah, Baker, we'd all want
That's
Baker here. There's
Well,
nobody else
yes,
I'd
I
really
told
want
you.
here.
I think Jacoby would probably be the other guy fans would be like, "Oh," because they kinda love Jacoby a little bit. You know, there's this
I mean,
fan because we like certain players, that
nobody wants
underdog player.
Jacoby Brissett to be their starter. Like,
Yeah,
you want him to be your
but
backup, and you know he could come in for a couple games, but, like, no team in the league, no quarterbacks coach, offense coordinator, or head coach in the league is like, "You give me Brissett, and we're gonna Don't worry
We
about a
always
first
bring
round
back
franchise
Jameis
quarterback.
Winston.
You give me Jacoby.
Back to W.
Need some wins.
All
Bring
right.
back Winston, baby. No.
Speaking of Kevin, what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about Kevin, and he right away after the game says Dillon is the starter. I'm at the point now.
I was at the point 2
where
weeks ago. I don't care,
I
man.
was at
4 games, Chad. 4 games.
I don't get it. I just don't. I mean, I get it from his perspective where, Chad's argument is, you have 8 more games now to go. You run Shador out there. He looks horrible 8 games. He's still going to be bad. I get that. I mean, we'll get into it a little bit. He did look a little better with Rees calling the plays, but is Kevin refusing to move on from Dillon right away going to cost him his job? Or is his job cost anyways? This is just icing on the cake.
Do you think
He's
that
just
Dillon
going
Gabriel
out
could have
with
been
his
this huge project just to see what we can get out of him? Because we know Deshaun Watson's going to come back before we even put Shador in, and Shador we're just saving for next year.
He was questioned about the
Crazy.
timeline of Watson, and Watson said we're not going there or something like that.
If he doesn't get activated in the next 3 weeks, then I don't believe there's any way that he gets activated, because
He'll be put back on the
21-day
IR,
window. There's 21-day window. If you wait till December to open him, he's not available till Christmas. You're gonna unlock a guy that can come back on the team and play the final game. Like, you're gonna do that. I mean, I can't imagine they would do that. So
yeah,
it's
he was
getting real
asked
close to
about it,
being
and
like,
he said something like, "We're not worried about that right now."
always
That's
says,
not
like,
on the that's
until
not
he's
on the
healthy.
plans. Basically,
Yeah,
yeah.
until he's healthy, we're not going to talk about him. They always say.
Yeah.
The offense has to do better. The defense has to do better. I have to coach better.
I don't know why they're sticking up for it. He's advocating for Dillon so hard. And the thing is, the press conference, he was asked, does he have weaknesses? And I know Kevin's not the type to throw him under the bus, or any player typically under the bus.
Yes,
It just gets frustrating because you need, as a coach, I'm at the point now where you need to hold your players accountable. If it's saying, yeah, there's some good things he did out there, but there's some things I'm sure that he wish he would have got back. Comments like that, like, hey, we know we're acknowledging that he's struggling, but he seems to be like, we're good.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just look at it. I don't think he thinks they're good at all. I think he just doesn't want to have headlines, so he just non-answers everything. I think Bill Belichick's everything, and the difference between the two of them is Bill Belichick won a lot more games, and he's not winning, and so it's annoying. And I think that's what it is. I mean, the reporters will always hate him because he doesn't answer. I get the annoyance because we all want an answer, but I think he just doesn't want to answer. And he's like, the way I can get out of answering this is just be like, I gotta be better. They gotta be better. We all gotta be better.
So what did you guys see different with Tommy Rees's play calling that you liked, or was different?
There's only one thing I saw about it that I liked. I didn't think it was terribly different, but there's 2 things I saw that I liked. One came from our conversation with Jake Burns, who said, when the Browns do something that works, Kevin needs to come back to it more often, and he's not. And I think we did see that a couple times Sunday, where they did something, it worked, and then a little later in the game, they either faked off that or they did it again. And I'm thinking of like the utilization of what is his name? Malachi Corley.
Oh,
yeah.
And then the other thing I saw was something that we've all been talking about, and Angel has been like amped up about it, was rolling Dillon out into space. And that's something we saw more of too.
Sam was on board with that as well.
Yes,
and it did look better. And he does look like he's more capable of throwing from out there, which is not a shock. And I think we've all been on board with that since Angel brought it up, is that like, yeah, it's weird we're not doing more. The irony is those feel like Kevin plays to me, like that jet sweep across that Malachi Corley does, the bootlegging and getting your quarterback out. That looks like what they were doing in the Kevin offense. What seems ironic is under Dorsey and under Rees, they were doing less of it. And I assumed, well, because Kevin is like evolving away from that. And then you go back to it and you're like, well, this is more appealing to watch and is like looking more effective. Like, you should have never got away from it.
Yeah, Tommy Rees play calling. He had 44 dropbacks. 10 of those dropbacks were play action, and Dillon went 6 for 8, 55 yards, and just 2 TDs came off play action. The screens, he had screen plays, 5 dropbacks. He went 2 for 4, 5 yards for 5 yards and a sack. 2 sacks came from the screenplay also. So from the play action.
Play
Sorry.
action. Yeah.
So I mean, he did look a lot. He did look a lot better, but that I'm not saying like he's like a lot better to the point where you're like, at least he looked like a capable backup as opposed to somebody where he's treading DTR water, which is an extreme comment because DTR was just horrible, but he was trending that way.
He looked like more closer to. He's still behind what I had hoped, but he looked
Yeah.
closer to what I expected. And again, it was another sloppy, rainy day, which is a bummer.
The
But
worst.
all to me, all that might help explain is like those 1 or 2 crazy passes that look like they slipped out of his hand because he doesn't have small hands. But like there was like a couple plays where you're like, "Whoa, what the hell was that?"
Yeah,
And I'm
that
like,
pass-
later,
do,
I had to
right?
remind myself, like, oh, it was pouring rain for a lot of that game. I forgot.
Yeah, just his
But
little
yeah, he
hands were
doesn't
wet.
have the tiny hands. So I was like, why does this ball look like it's falling out of his hand or it got
Yeah.
tipped? And it's like it wasn't tipped. So, but
Yeah,
still, I think
I'm
the offense
yeah,
in
I'm
general, just not the Dillon part, but the offense itself is the right direction. They have to keep going in
yeah.
that direction.
I mean, they got Judy more involved. Now, all this is after a bye week, so you kind of expected them to look a little better. He looked a little more comfortable. It seemed like they installed things that they knew he felt more comfortable with, which is good for them. But at the same time, it's hard to watch, man. He is hard to watch at times, and it's just like, come on, like receivers are open. You're taking a sack on 4th and 1 out of field goal range. It's and I know he's a rookie, and hypothetically we should be patient, but I mean, you lost to the Jets, dude. Like, and I'm not upset because I told it like I told people I was on the Dogs podcast. I said we're gonna lose. I told you guys last week we're gonna lose, and it's more or less because of the defense. I mean, the defense did some bonehead plays toward the end there, which would seal the deal, but. The offense, too. The offense can't move the
That deal
ball.
was sealed before we even got to that stadium, dude. I knew
Yeah,
it. I knew it was going to happen. I'm sorry. I'm
you're
not trying to burst your
no,
bubble. Well, me and
no.
you both actually were the ones that agreed it was going to be a loss going into it. So
Yeah, it was.
sorry to interrupt that.
No, and you lost too with Justin Fields passing for like 55 yards. And it's like it's only us, dude, that you go into and your defense holds a team for under 200 yards and you still lose by 7 points. Like how is this thing only to us? Like why is it only happening to the Browns? Like it's just insane to sit there as a fan and you see that drive and the only reason why that drive was set up for a touchdown is because of a turnover. And then you're like, all right, good. Maybe they'll capitalize on it. Oh, no, not turn. Yeah, it was the first try wasn't a turnover. It was penalties helped set that up. And then the turnover set up number 2, the second turnover. But other than that, when they have long fields, it's so hard for them to score. It's just depressing.
Yeah.
And then it's cloudy and rainy on Sunday, so it makes it worse.
You just prompted me to completely change the good, the bad, and the ugly. The bad and the ugly are now different. So
Oh, we're going to go right into that.
Yeah, go right into it.
Up next. But as you started talking about that, I'm like, you just reminded me that what I thought was the bad and the ugly is not even the bad and the ugly. The bad and the ugly just took a turn.
All
by
I
the way,
saw was pink with the corner of my eye. I was like, what is going on over there? I see something moving.
Yeah, the Good, Bad, and Ugly segment brought to you by Cleveland Ketchup. Go to clevelandketchup.com. Use the code BEARDED for 10% off your order. Also, the top stories were brought to you by Bearded Bastard Barbecue Sauce. Go to their website. Use the code BEARDED15 to save 15% off your order. Bearded Bastard Barbecue Sauce is really good. Also, too, Cleveland Ketchup is good. We're a saucy type of
Definitely a lot
sponsor.
saucier than the Browns, I could tell you that. Let's get into it. Good, bad, and the
Good,
ugly.
bad, ugly. The good, the bad, and the ugly. All right. I'm hoping that I updated in time. The good. I'll do the good. The defense was good and the offense was more watchable. Is that updated or no?
It's up
I
there.
wouldn't agree with
Yeah,
that,
it was more
but
watchable.
it's. I mean, that's pretty much all you could sum up for that game. Really, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
very hard to find a good for this one, guys. But
Yeah. But yeah, shout out to James. The good should have been Carson played while having a high ankle sprain and played played every snap.
I
9
don't think
tackles, I
Carson
believe. Yeah.
ever really had a high ankle sprain, but that's just me.
Oh.
Oh,
Conspiracy
I
theory.
think that was
now, yeah, I was
just
gonna
think
say
that was
this week he's a
misreported.
conspiracy theorist.
I saw like a report after the MRI where like, oh, it's not as serious as initially thought, and I'm like, I want him to go down as like a folk hero. Like my leg is ripping in half, and I play it anyway. I just think they guessed it might be a high ankle sprain, and it's a very
Just
minor
stayed.
one if
They
it is
kept
one,
it.
and like, but I will agree to this. Like he
Kinda
played
bad
and
here
he
with that.
played hard with some form of ankle sprain 2 weeks ago. But
Yeah.
just me. Just
Bad.
The whole damn game. Special returns. That was the touchdowns, both of them that cost us the game. Obviously, special teams has been Chad's issue all year, and
awful.
to watch that happen while we're doing a live show, I was just like, I was so
Back
bummed
to
out.
back on back to back
Kickoff return and then a punt
kicks.
return. Oh, punt then the kickoff.
In one quarter. There was a point we talked about where they had more special teams touchdowns than they had offensive yards. The Jets. That's the Jets. They had equal. They had 2 special teams touchdowns and 2 total offensive yards at the same time. That is so bad. And the special teams have been bad all season and have cost them multiple games now, like 3. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's you wouldn't even so the special teams this year is 46 punts, second most in the NFL, 2,253 punt yards, second most in the NFL, 320 return yards, the most in the NFL. Yards per return 14.5, which is most in the NFL. Net average is 36.6, worst in the NFL. And touchdowns allowed, 2, yes, you guessed it, worst in the NFL. Basically, the special teams is the worst special teams in the NFL. You add
What's
the
the
worst
opposite of a
offense in
fun
the
fact?
NFL, and you have the worst team in the NFL because you have the worst quarterback and coach in the NFL.
This was brought up somewhere earlier too, that there was, I don't remember who said it, but there's been 19 what they call impact special teams plays, and that includes blocking a kick, or returning a punt or kickoff for a touchdown. Those are like special teams impact plays. There's been 21 in the league. The Browns have accounted for 4 of them against them. They've had 3 kicks returned for touchdowns, and they've had one field goal blocked. So the Browns have counted for 21% of the total impact plays on special teams have happened against the Browns.
Hey, with all due respect,
32 teams.
with all due respect, Kevin believes in Bubba Ventrone and is going to
I believe in them.
work.
Yeah.
They're gonna
That is a
they're gonna do better. They're gonna do better though. So look out, guys. All right. We got the Ravens next week, so I can't imagine what special teams are gonna be like for that.
I think the ugly is that you lost to the team in the league that at the trade deadline showed you that they were actively tanking to be the worst team in the league by trading their best
100%.
two of their best players on the entire roster away for future picks in order for them to just say, you know what, we give up on this season. Here's our best players. We're fine finishing last. That's the team you found a way to lose to this week. The team actively trying to out tank everybody and purposely come in last, and they beat you.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's a testament to all the times we've said tanking comes from the front office. The front office was like, this season's over for us. Let's get rid of these guys. Let's get picks. It's going to take us a while to rebuild. Let's try to finish the last in the league and be able to get the top pick and draft a quarterback. And the players and the coaches were like, sorry, our job is to win. And they tried and they won.
Yeah. Or the man booth said the good Rees is capable, the bad Gabriel's getting playing time, the ugly Kevin said head coach.
Gabriel was originally the bad. The reason I changed it is because we can only complain about Gabriel so much. Like
You're gonna complain. Kyle says the good, the defense. The defense good. All right. The bad,
I
the
thought
off.
the defense made boneheaded plays, but they played a good game. They gave up 13 points.
Yeah, but when you're sitting there and you're 4th and 5, and you're
Yeah, that's
sitting there, you
the
don't
problem is
move.
that's not the defense. That's one guy. That's
That,
Cam.
that is he on the defense?
Yeah, but you're gonna blame the whole. Are
The
you gonna
whole
say that one
yes.
There's
person?
no I
You
in
one,
sit there
team.
and you yell at Thomas and you say, "You move, I'm hitting you in the
so
freaking head
let
with
me
my
pause you.
helmet."
So if I go online and I say I
Also,
love Dillon Gabriel, if I
Bush's
go
whole
online I say I love Dillon Gabriel this week, you're okay with them saying the Bearded Browns, the whole group, because Chad's on the
no,
Bearded Browns, the
Chad
whole
likes
group
the
loves.
Chad.
That's what I'm
Chad.
saying. Cam Ward, or Cam
That's
Thomas,
Chad coming
only
out of the
problem on that
closet,
play,
ladies and gentlemen. He
not
really
the whole
does
defense.
love
I'm not
Gabriel.
taking a defense that made big plays, got interceptions, got sacks, made stops. I'm not going to take Mason Graham, who had his best game of the year, and say the defense sucks because Cam Thomas did something totally boneheaded that
This
even a rookie
team
couldn't do.
under Schwartz has always have a discipline issue. It's not the player, it's the culture.
Then tell me
You
why
allow
half of the
a
friggin' fans keep telling me he should be the
40-yard
head coach.
screenplay for a touchdown. They do that once a game, and you did it against the Jets.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm
keep
saying the
I
defense.
keep saying to piles of fans who are like, "Do you need to promote Schwartz to head coach?" And I'm like, this
No,
defense makes some boneheaded mistakes, and you want to make him the
every
head coach of the whole team?
yeah, and the
He's got
reason
a
why it doesn't
strong
get
defense.
highlighted is because we're so bad on offense and we're so good on defense. If it was flipped, where we're good on defense and those plays cost you on offense, then it would be roles reverse.
I'm just
just
saying,
upset
whoever
at
out
the
there
team.
said the
Okay,
defense was pretty good, I agree. For 90% of the game until that last 2 plays,
80%.
the defense was pretty good.
That's why you stay the whole game, folks, to watch the disaster. Unlike when the one game we won, I
And
left 4 minutes
the
in.
Bush hold too. The Bush hold there, like he's
I didn't
not
think
passing
I
down
thought that was a
field.
weak I thought that was a weak hold call. To
Yeah,
like
it
he
is,
barely
but
contacted the guy. He like pushed off him a little. I think the guy was running straight at him and he kind of like knocked him off. It's not like he grabbed and threw him down, turned him around. He just pushed off of him and it was like he probably thought it was a friggin' run play. He almost
yeah.
did it as if like I'm gonna get this guy off me, and then it was like, oh. So yeah, I agree. They were never throwing to him. You got to be way more careful there. But I was kind of pissed at that call. I was like, that you're going to call that a hold on like an obvious non-throwing play? Like, give me a break.
Yeah.
I agree.
But I agree. Overall, I think the special teams cost us the game. Obviously, 14 points, back-to-back plays like that. That's a momentum killer. That's even a play calling scheme change moment, because if you're close there, now you can call the game differently.
You were
But
playing with
because
the lead.
yeah, so unfortunately, Bubba, and I'm surprised Bubba's not even gone. Like, at what point do you think he's gonna help? I mean, ridiculous.
I just always take the same. I would not have the same problem with firing a special teams coach as I have with firing a midseason head coach, because it's not as dysfunctional. It doesn't throw the team in as much disarray. I guess my only thought is there's nobody sitting around the NFL available to bring in, which means one of the special teams assistants is going to get upgraded. And they're like, okay, like, I don't know. Is that better?
Yeah, probably. He'll probably be 30.
I guess it could be.
Yeah, it could be. We'll see. Next, we're going
to
back on to the game recap, brought to you by Doug White, Allstate Insurance. Give Doug White a call for your insurance needs. We're going to start this week with the offense because they're the sad bunch, unfortunately. Our defense, our receivers had a better game. Judy was targeted a lot more after Kevin was dumbfounded before the bye week as to why he was only targeted twice against New England. You
figured it out.
Go what?
We'll have Tommy Rees call all passing plays, and Kevin Stefanski calls all run plays.
And then you'll probably have more throwing.
Well, the receivers were catching this week, dude. It's Cleveland, man. I don't know. I'm just trying to come up with some theory.
I guess anything
works.
It worked.
No, they looked a lot better. Cedric Tillman looked. I'm glad to see him out there. Judy had 2 drop passes still, which is concerning.
Dropping more than one a game.
Yeah, this team is at a sad state, man. It's like
Yep.
even when you want to be positive, like I was on the Dogs podcast and he was like, "Can you say something positive?" I'm like, "No." Other than like, Fannin and Junkins, like this rookie class is fine, but like game time, even at moments like Fannin was lining off lining we could get into tight ends now.
Yeah, he
Fannin
was
was lining had to be told where to go at sometimes by Dillon. I don't know if he was in the right spot sometimes. When him and I think there's a lot of communications with him.
he's been a little
But
bit up and down,
yeah.
I
Which is
think,
which is fine. He's a rookie,
throughout the whole season. And he's a rookie, which you're right, that should count for something. And again, he's a third round pick. It's not like he's Tyler Warren, who's the, you know, 12th, whatever it was, pick in the draft. And it's like you're expected to be this guy right now. But yeah, he's a third round rookie, and we've seen a lot of flashes, but he has had some drops. He's been out of place. He's missed a couple blocks, and then he had that terrible penalty on 4th and 1 that made them not even able to go for it on 4th and 1. So yeah, he's been up and down. He's got some stuff to work on, but
Yeah.
I think we all believe he can improve. So
Yeah, I agree with
he's not
Earl
bad.
the Man Booth again on Facebook. You said the game should have never been close. How in the world does a defense in today's NFL hold a quarterback to 54 yards passing in the game not be a blowout win? It's because
Mhm.
your offense is just as
Put up
bad as
20.
that 55-yard passing. And
Just
again, it's
put up
opportunity,
20.
opportunist plays. You had that screen play for a touchdown up the running back had, which was a great play call. They weren't ready for it. And again, it goes back to sports. There's always that one play, whether it's a downfield or they're not ready for a screen and they bust it off for a touchdown. That's why I agree with when Chad said, like, he's not going to be any better as a head coach. That's why he's a coordinator after Detroit. He never became one. Running backs, they're okay. They were okay. Junkins was okay. Nothing too big to talk there. Offensive line, another bad game. 6 sacks allowed. Now you can maybe
One
put
of
some
their
of that
worst
on
games, if
Dillon.
not their worst.
You put some of
Yeah,
that on Dillon.
Dylan
I did see who
Dylan
had the
ran into a
highest.
couple.
Yeah, who had the highest? Was it Wyatt as far as PFF? I think he was the
Oh,
highest rated.
Antonio by far.
Batonio.
Wyatt had a rough game. Batonio, again, not only led the team in the line, I think he led the entire Browns offense in PFF score, but everybody else, like Pochich had a mediocre score. Teller was bad. Conklin was bad. Cam Robinson was bad. This was maybe your line's overall worst game outside of Batonio, which is
Yeah.
really sad. You got
Um,
the oldest guy on your line is the only one still performing.
how many snaps did Junkins have? Because I didn't notice it, but James on YouTube said, why was there like a whole quarter, maybe more or less, that we didn't see Junkins on the field? I'm trying to think if I
Uh,
did not see him. I felt like I seen him.
He was
Um,
out a fair amount. I wouldn't be shocked if, you know, they were taking a
I
little
know
bit of
they were
personnel
putting
with him coming off that injury.
Simpson in. Yeah, Simpson had
And
a
they
couple.
also in passing down, they had Samson out there a little more. And also remember in passing downs, a lot of times they have out Jerome Ford because he
Yeah,
is their
better
pass catching
blocking.
back and he's a good third down blocker. But I didn't know I'll say this: Judkins is never out there as much as I want. Like I want Judkins out
Yeah,
there so much
every
more than he'll ever be out there probably. I'm just one of those guys that's like, he's your best offensive weapon. I want him as involved as possible.
I agree. On to the quarterback, Dillon Gabriel. He's actually up for Rookie of the Week.
you got to be. Who did? I thought you guys were messing with me. I
No, he's
thought that
he's
was like a
really up for
joke.
Rookie of the Week.
You got to be
No,
kidding me.
Oh, quick pause. So I don't know the snap count, but it doesn't say right here. But Judkins had 22 carries, so like that's
That's a
that's
fair
yeah,
pretty
that's
share.
decent.
pretty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I
didn't they
thought
didn't
so.
abandon him at least. I don't know his total play count, but
Yeah, they probably just took him out because we're getting blown away by special teams. That's all.
Yeah, and did you see they had Samson return punts or kicks? I thought that was a good. I haven't seen him do that all year. Maybe he has. I just
yeah.
wasn't paying
My only
attention.
problem with that, and it comes back to special teams, we have seen this like 2 or maybe 3 years in a row. Why at this point of the season are you shuffling returners as if you're like testing it out in regular season games? Like get your returner figured out first of all, stop bringing in a designated return specialist that's 30-something years old in the
Yep.
offseason for $5 million and take your young guys and say, one of you want to get on the field? Then you better return kicks. And just like what we talked about with Eric Metcalf, you want to be out there? You better return kicks, and you can earn more time out there. And then it's just another knock on Bubba Ventrone is like, why are you swapping all these people? Identify a guy in training camp that can return a kick. Identify your guy that can return a punt. Identify the backup behind them that can do it if they're not available, and then get them out there. I'm glad to see other guys like I'm glad to see like Larvadain get a chance. I'm glad to see Corley like do something with it. But why aren't these guys identified a long time ago? Malachi Corley came onto this team with like no time with the team, no training camp, no time to practice, but he was in shape. He had been with the Jets. Why didn't you get him out there and see, like, can you return kicks for us? It gives you a chance to get on the field. Isaiah Bond, like, what? He didn't know the route tree. He didn't know the plays. If you want to get him involved, try to utilize him on special teams and figure it out earlier than week 9.
Yeah, I feel like Gage was doing pretty good with that. I don't know why they stopped with that. And again, you need consistency there. So let the guy be back there to get comfortable. Even if he's not, he needs consistency back there. I mean, I like Gage a lot. I want to see him get the ball.
They love the shuffle.
Yeah, it's weird.
My guy Thrash will come out, guys. Promise.
He's got 8 more games. He's gonna have a breakout.
Another guy though, you're like, he's gonna be dressed. He's the wide receiver like 5 on this team. If he can return kicks, he should be back there. So he's useful. Like, figure it out and get him back there if he can do it. If he can't, fine. But like, you're trying everybody as if you don't know.
Right.
So it just feels like throwing darts at this point.
Earl, their man, Booth said, Gabriel in 5 starts, if my math is correct, has 0 lengthy drives that he has had a lead.
No, that is led, period.
Yeah.
Remember there was one game we crossed the 50-yard line.
Well, I mean, I'm not surprised because you're averaging 15 points a game. I mean,
yeah. Now, we love doing this. So in the last 3 games, we're averaging 21.5 points a game. Because we love
which is, you should be bumped up to at least 17 at some point.
But then people think our defense is bad, but when it's in reality special teams not tackling and giving up big plays like
that's why the special teams screwed us this game. I think if the special teams hadn't given up 2 touchdowns, the defense and the offense would have looked both better. The difference is the offense is so far down that their better is still like, yeah, maybe if they work real hard, they can get to be the 25th best offense in the league instead of the 30th. Like, oh.
Yes, Kyle, I agree. They just need to do better. That's all, guys. That's all we need to do, right? I think I'm going insane because of this team.
You're not wrong,
guys.
They do need to be better at everything.
I'm not going to lie to you guys. I was not upset at all Sunday. I predicted a loss, and I'm not happy because I predicted that loss. I genuinely wanted us to win.
That's what I've been saying for years. The biggest part of Browns fandom that like devastates these fans, and like you guys said, we joked about at the beginning of the season. Me and Nick Carnes got in this giant like back and forth just about like, it feels like every year he comes in with this, I think we can win 10 games mentality, and then when we stink, he's like, I can't believe this is happening. And I'm like, I think the reason I feel differently is because I come in saying like, I think we can win 5 this year, and then when we have like, then when we're 2 and 5 or something in October, I'm like, yeah, we're right up.
The terrible that Jets game, you dropped down. I think the only winnable games right now, honestly, the only winnable game to me is Tennessee. Like, I think Chicago can beat you.
We'll find a way to lose that game, dude.
I think there's more winnable. I'm just losing faith that they will win them. Right? Like the Jets.
That's what I mean
winnable.
by they won't win.
I mean, I think the Titans are winnable. I think the Raiders are winnable. But like,
you're not winning it.
But are they going to win them?
No. Geno Smith is going to come back at Geno Smith of old, or Kenny Pickett's going to be dropping 300 on you.
If it ends up being Kenny Pickett and he beats us, I'm going to lose it.
This right here.
Either of us.
Also, thank you for the subscription on YouTube. We appreciate you. She said, I thought we would win it because I knew the Jets were tanking. I did not expect we were worse than the Jets.
Yeah, I did.
We aren't worse. That's what we shouldn't be worse than the Jets.
Going to lose.
Our offense is better than the Jets. Our defense is better than the Jets. But of course, in the most Brownsiest fashion ever, they found some way for the special teams to be like, oh yeah, hold my beer. I can show you who's the worst.
I agree with Joe. I wouldn't be surprised if they lose out. And I'm not saying this as a down Browns fan. It's just
No, it's a fair thought.
it's a fair
It's
thought. And
possible.
also too, I'm honest with you. I thought that we were going to lose because the Browns defense don't play well. They don't play well on the road. Whether it's
That's
that
what's so
one play
frustrating,
that
though.
screws them, it's on the
Yeah.
road. At home, forget about it. I'll pick them to win. I'm not going to pick them against Baltimore this way. I
You've been
think
making that
Lamar's
point,
gonna come back
Angel, and
to
you're
win.
right. What's frustrating is they played one of their better road games, and special teams found a way to like totally F them anyway. And it was like he said, they gave up 55 passing yards. For a defense that's not good on the road, that was pretty great. And then they still found some way for special teams to screw them, the offense to not do enough explosive stuff to help them out. And then they made their own mistakes in the fourth quarter. Three key ones: one, letting up a giant screen pass go, and two, on penalties. Like they found a way to like make up for how good they were playing by screwing it up at the end.
And what's frustrating about the screenplay is if you go back to every game this year, there's always one or two that breaks off, maybe not for a touchdown, but for a first down or a big
Mhm.
game. They call them explosive plays. Always happens on the Browns. Teams know
It'll be
that.
like
They
on
scheme
3rd
it.
and 22, and they're like, "I bet we
Yeah.
can get a screen pass off."
Yeah,
James, we're going
and
to
it
get to that
happens.
here in a minute.
And it happens 100%. It's just annoying. It's annoying. You know, we have defense. We have nothing on the defense because honestly, they played a good game. You can't really dump on the defense other than some mental errors that they do every game, 2 or 3 mental errors a
Yep.
game. But you
The thing
can't
is,
dump on them.
those errors should not cost them the game, but they do because nobody else is
Offense
helping them.
sucks.
If
Yeah.
special teams would just play mediocre and be the 15th best special teams and not 32nd in the league, and the offense was just top 20, you probably have a winning record right now. But the offense is 32. In my opinion, the special teams is 32. And so the defense can't be top 5. They can't even be top 1. They need to be greatest of all time.
Here's a funny story. Me and Chad in the beginning of the year had an argument because I went with the old motto, defense wins championships, and definitely is proving me wrong this year. Thank you, Browns. I want to thank you for that. So
Because
yeah,
your
you
offense
got to
can't score 20 points a game.
Yeah.
It's just it's pathetic.
it was
Quarterbacks
proven.
are who win champions, and we don't have one, and it's killing this defense, and it's killing probably all the veterans on this team who are like, "Oh my God, we're doing this again. Why didn't they get a quarterback in here?" There were quarterbacks available, and we talked all offseason about what the options were. And like I said, I think Kenny Pickett would have been a better fit for what they did. That's unfortunate he got hurt. It's unfortunate they couldn't trust him to start the season, and they didn't
Yeah.
want the rookies in there. So some of that is like out of our hands. Injuries are just blah. But I would have never left this room in August being Flacco and Pickett. Those were never going to be like the guys I would have put everything on. And it just, they set themselves up in a bad situation. And the only good thing that can possibly come out of it is they're so bad that they finally find their quarterback. I can't think of anything else.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
I mean, they probably win that last game in Cincinnati and then drop down to 7. And then you screw
Yeah.
yourself.
It's happened.
Good thing-
It's happened before.
Yeah.
More than once.
It has. It has. That's what I'm saying. Don't put it past them. Don't put it past them. We already talked about the special teams and how much they sucked. 21 special teams explosive plays and 4 versus Browns. Chad brought that up. Let's go move to blame pie. We normally do alpha dog, but we don't win, so that is no longer a segment allowed on this podcast. Blame pie. Who should get the blame for this game? And I think all of us can agree, but let's start.
I'm actually pulling it up here. You guys go ahead and talk about it. I put
okay.
up a poll. I'll tell you guys real quick. I put up a
Game.
poll.
There's not that much to
obviously.
talk about. The
Yeah.
special teams is obviously the biggest piece of the pie. So if you
Biggest.
have to pick one, special teams for like the second or third time this season completely screwed up and blew this game for a team that should have won in a time where every win is so important to the mentality of this team only just over halfway through the season. If you're doing blame pie and you're like, give them a percentage of it, I'm giving them like 80% of this loss is on the special teams, which is a lot.
agree.
That's more than I would almost ever give anyone.
But here's what fans think. 66.7% of people blamed Kevin Stefanski. Okay. 33.3% special teams. No Tommy Rees. I could agree. No Dillon Gabriel.
So Dillon not being able to,
He's the rookie of the week. Come on.
he
I
gets
just want to tell you,
zero.
more
He gets
people
zero.
Browns fans, listen to
Dillon
this.
Gabriel
More
can't freaking
people
throw a
felt
ball,
that
but he
Kevin
gets
Stefanski
zero.
was a problem. More people felt Kevin Stefanski was a problem this Sunday than Dillon Gabriel, who took a bunch of unnecessary sacks, missed a bunch of throws, and just couldn't drive this team down the field like they needed to against a tanking team. And more people blamed Kevin Stefanski, who had given up play calling, that
It
this was
doesn't-
somehow more his fault than your quarterback or your special teams, who did so little
these
to help
fans.
you. I just don't get
I
it.
don't
At this
understand it.
point, I'm
And
pretty sure
you give
people are like,
zero to Dillon Gabe, zero. Like he's totally voided of any mistake that he did on Jets because we're just so much. Listen, I'm off on Kevin too. I actually have a coach. I have my top 3 coaching list we could talk about here in a minute. But
Well,
listen,
I'll just pull that up
I
when
do
you're done.
not think 66% of the blame pie should be on Kevin. Good point,
I
Chad.
agree.
He gave up play calling. He was sitting there. He was telling the defense not to jump off sides.
Don't
He was literally
jump.
yelling it.
He's literally
He's telling them,
screaming,
don't
"You're
jump.
not gonna
It must
run a
have been
play,
one of
don't
that
jump."
gut feeling that he had because he's seen a horrible season flash before his eyes. And he did what he can this game. The 66%,
Yeah.
more than half to be blamed on him and not Bubba Patron and the two
The biggest
14
thing,
points.
the biggest thing I can blame Kevin for is that Bubba Ventrone is one of his coaches. That is his biggest problem this week.
Okay. If you want to tie it, okay. If you want to explain it that way, but most people voting aren't even thinking that way. They're just thinking
No.
we want Kevin out of here.
That was Kevin's biggest mistake today, was that 2 years ago he hired Bubba Ventrone.
And by
And
the
that was
way,
a
he was
terrible
highly
hire.
touted. By the way,
Yes.
he
People
was highly
praised that
touted.
pick globally. He was
Yeah.
doing great things with the Colts.
Great, and that's why they made him like an assistant coach too, because they wanted to entice him to come
To
here to
keep him.
help.
They wanted
Yeah,
to
maybe
keep
it's
him. Yeah,
just
they
the
wanted to be able to keep him
organization
here.
and not him.
All right, so I'm going to try to do this
That's-
randomly. As of right now, this is Angel's top 3 coaches as of right now to replace Kevin. It's early. It's midweek. We have something to talk about. Number 1, Brian, give me some discipline. One thing we lack, Chad, is discipline. You know who's going to bring discipline? No nonsense mentality, some mojo, some manhood. Brian Flores. Brian Flores. You know why he got fired in Miami supposedly? Because he didn't want to tank. He has a no losing attitude. I want a winner. He was 24 and 25 in Miami. Granted, he had 1 losing season, 5 and 11 his first year, winning seasons back to back years, and still was fired because they wanted to suck for Tua, and he hated losing, so they fired him. Gone. So Brian Flores is number 1 on my list. Do you remember my crush during the summer with Kubiak? We talked about Clint a lot, didn't we? We said who should be the offensive coordinator. Clint Kubiak was top on my list.
Yeah.
And I want him to come back as my coach. Clint Kubiak is running a top 10 offense other than on third down. He's at 16 right now, but his offense is top 10 statistically on every category in the NFL. Bring me Clint Kubiak from the offense side. Brian Flores, I think defensively, Miles will be excited. The defense will stay on track because you get rid of Schwartz probably. He'll focus on that. Clint is a
That's my
young
worry.
mind, offensive mind. You bring me him, he'll probably better the offense because you probably get a quarterback. And a lot of people are like, why in the heck is this dude got Mike McCarthy on here? Why Mike
That's
McCarthy?
exactly my question.
You want to know why?
He does not excite me at all.
You want to know why? Because I know my organization, and I know my organization is going to want a guy that falls in this line. This line of chain of command that everyone's going to come in the room and agree. Mike McCarthy was in Dallas for years, and he was a Jerry's puppet. So I think Mike McCarthy, if you want to bring a winner here that has won Super Bowls, he has a winning record, he's good offensively. If you want to bring someone who knows how to win as an old timer, a retread, Mike McCarthy would be that guy for me. Now, eventually he's going to fall off the list, but I wanted to bring him in here because I think one thing that we need to talk about when we're talking about coaches in the coaching search is organizational lining. They're not going to go with somebody I've seen in the chat. People keep on saying John Gruden. Do you think John Gruden's going to come here? If you're a Browns
Why
fan
do
and you think John
Clevelanders
Gruden's going to come here,
always want the oldest guys.
oldest guy, because
Cleveland fans are like, hey, I remember really liking this guy in 2002. Maybe we should bring him in. When was the last time John Gruden had a winning season? Like in the 2010s or
And he won, by the way, he won that Super Bowl in Tampa with Dungy's team.
Chad, he
Correct.
answered your question in email.
Who did? Oh,
Gruden.
okay, yeah. I thought you said something. No, so for me, Mike McCarthy will fall in line organizationally if there's because Jimmy Haslam's obsessed with everyone has to agree on this pick. I don't think Brian Flores would put up with that. Clint Kubiak is gonna listen. I have jobs elsewhere. I can get a job anywhere. I'm not gonna fall in line with this weird crap that you guys deal with, this cult type of personality. So right now, that's my top 3. It's gonna change most likely next week when we lose again, and I'm frustrated and looking for a quarterback. Actually, Eric DeMoon put up replacement coach Eric Bieniemy. He's been around a lot, and he's been given
I've never
opportunities,
been,
and
yeah,
he's never been
nobody has
hired. That
wanted him as
scares
the
me.
head coach.
That
It
scares
makes
me.
me nervous that like 20 people have interviewed him and all of them have been like passed.
And it
But
can't be for
you brought up
reasons that
you
people
brought up
think.
an interesting point because I've gotten smashed for this on social media a bunch of times. When I say like my biggest pause about firing Kevin Stefanski midseason is I think it just causes chaos and turmoil, and I don't think it helps the Browns close out the season, and I don't think it makes any big difference. My point about my concern about firing Kevin Stefanski from the fans that are in this like automatic mode, like the addition by subtraction crowd, the group that for years were like, you should cut Greg Newsome, and then they don't, and years later you trade Greg Newsome for a cornerback who looks pretty freaking good, and you thank your stars that you didn't cut Greg Newsome for no reason early. My thought for that same crowd is, unless you have a plan, the closer you get to the end of the season, the more back channel people can talk to an agent and say like, "Hey,
Mhm.
would Brian Flores take this job?" And it will be very easy for some agent to talk to another agent and come back and be like, "No chance, guys. We knew it was very, very openly declared Mike Vrabel was not taking this job."
Yeah.
Then the New England Patriots, before the end of the season, fired their head coach, and very shortly after the season, Mike Vrabel was their head coach. It's because they knew he would take the job. They felt okay firing their guy, and you can't always line that up. Mike Vrabel's a unique situation because he played in New England. He's very close to the Crafts. He's wanted to go back and coach there. It's a different situation, but the idea is we have all these. You brought it up in that talk just now. Would Clint Kubiak want to come here and coach this no quarterback? He's got to be hired before the draft. He doesn't know what quarterback they're going to have. Does he want Sanders or Gabriel? I doubt it. And then you look at like and then you look at Flores, and you're bringing up like, is he going to want to work under this? Like, we all make group decisions. One guy doesn't make the decisions here. So my big pause with the hold on, you're firing mid-season talk is nobody wants this job. And if you're going to fire somebody and end up in a worse position, that's worse to me.
I would be worried about the coach bump where you bring in Schwartz and people are excited and they actually win games at this point. I think winning games would
Like
probably
two. Like
yeah.
that bump is like you got excited for like 2 weeks, you won games, then you came back down to earth, and then
Yep.
you're like, "Oh, we suck
Eric Mangini
again." But
effect,
now
right?
yeah,
Ah,
we suck again,
Remember
and then
that
you're
when
like,
we
"We
sucked
also
and
blew our draft pick."
yeah, now we're gonna get a defensive tackle or a guy
Yeah,
that
and again, they're trying to
yeah.
win. People do not wanna understand that if players tank and they don't try and they lose, the team goes out and they get new players to replace you. This isn't like fans can wanna tank. We can wanna be like, "I hope we don't win too many games so we get a high pick." The players aren't like, do you think Dillon Gabriel or Shedeur are like, "I hope we lose enough games to get the first
No.
pick and pick a quarterback"? Nope.
We could
They
get
don't want
replaced.
that.
Here
Why?
comes that 3
In what
quarterback
world
competition again. Let's go.
in what world is Kevin like,
man.
"I really wanna lose as many games as I can so they can fire me, replace me with a different coach, and then they can win more next year?" Like, what? Yeah, so, okay.
So this is why me and Mike last week was saying, or the week before, was start Shador at some point because we need to know what we see in him. We need to know
Yeah.
if he's capable. And if you
I
do
think
it
they know more than us.
all games, the better. But I have a feeling they're going to do it after the Vegas game anyway. So they're going to give Dylan 2 more games because, Vegas, I think after that you have 6-ish, 5, 6-ish. And that should be a good sample size. After 5 or 6, if you give him 4, I feel that's just that's not enough.
I'm worried that's what they're going to give him
Yeah.
to be safe. I would be fine. Like I said with Mike, when we were talking about that, like how many games do you need? I was more thinking like I'd like to see half and half.
4, Chad. That's how many. 4.
Like wants to see 4. I would be good seeing half and half. I'm worried. This should give everybody pause. If you're out there and you think that the Browns are like, I have a conspiracy. I don't want to play Shador because he's good and when we'll be better. Like there's no scenario where that's better. My worry is if they're not playing him, either they're very misjudging him or he's not going to be expected to be as good as we think. And that is my hesitation. Like if they think they're on the hot seat and they're losing all these games and it's pretty desperate and they're still not going to him right now, I just have to be a little worried that he's just not very good.
Hear me out, though.
I think he should be better. He should be
Conspiracy
better.
theory again, like earlier, like I said, what if literally we are just holding this kid out for next year? We really are tanking. I mean, I
You
know you
gotta
can't.
see what you got.
I mean,
You gotta see what you
what
have.
you're
Can't do
trying
that
to
without a very special understanding. I could see the scenario. I get Mike's idea though of like
We
they
told
think
Miles,
he can be
listen,
good.
dude,
They think
we're gonna
he,
be crap.
but they think he can be ruined. So they're like, we're not going to put him into this garbage.
Yeah, we told Miles, we're gonna get you, but you gotta wait one more year, hold out. We're gonna get some draft picks in here to help you and the team. You come here, we're gonna make it happen. Or
Here's
is it
$40
just
million?
yeah? That's where you gotta. I don't know.
I
We'll-
mean,
we'll
I've
give
said
you a
this
max
1,000
contract.
times. There's no way they said, "Don't worry, we're going to get you a quarterback. We're going to wait till the 5th round though when he falls." Like
That's what
no-
I'm saying. That's what
It
makes
couldn't have been. It couldn't
kind
have been Sanders because they would have never picked Dillon ahead of him if that was the case. I think it's exactly what we've all thought before. Is they brought in some veterans that they thought wouldn't be good, but could hold them over for a little while. They wanted Dillon to be their like backup and bridge quarterback. They didn't expect Sanders to fall, and when he did, he just got too valuable. And there's nothing in this whole season that has changed my mind on that.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm still on the train of I think Sanders has more upside than Dillon. Like everyone does. It's just he does feel like a quarterback to me that if he's in a bad situation, you can mess him up. And maybe that's true because otherwise I don't see any reason why he isn't getting himself out there soon.
I'm just very concerned because they under judgment. If they think
Fair.
Shador isn't ready, but they thought Dillon was ready, and Dillon looks like this.
the supercomputer.
That's concerning to me because it's like, and I know it's probably Barry's fault for getting rid of Flacco right away, and
Yeah.
I don't
That's
think
the one sign of that was the one tank move they've made. Is
yeah,
they were like they should have kept Flacco as a backup, but the one move they made was like this season's over. Let's just get picks for next year with Flacco.
Yeah.
That is the one move that has given me the idea that like, okay, Barry is more about developing the young guys. And it may not be a tank because like he stunk here. So they wasn't like if we kept Flacco, we would have won so much more, but more of a like he's looking to the future. Barry's like this ain't it. I'm looking to next year already. And the team is on a little different page. They could have used Flacco, I think, for longer and for even a backup role with this current team.
yeah.
However,
Well-
Burrow is back on the field, so we'll see.
At least I have a good backup in Joe. If the other Joe goes down again, I mean, Joe seems to play well there.
He
Everyone
gets
else,
excited for 5 games and that'll fall off a shelf again. Don't worry.
well,
I mean,
a
they
lot of
haven't won much
notes.
since Flacco. He's
Yeah.
playing way better than he played here, but it's not like they're winning a bunch of games.
It's also too because their talent's just offensively is just better than
Yeah,
what we have.
right.
I mean, they
right.
cover up so many mistakes for that offensive line, and they
Oh,
should.
yeah.
They get paid for it. So take that, Cincinnati. Well, we're out of notes. So that means we're going to get out of here. Thank you for tuning in, commenting, liking, sharing, and subscribing, man. Appreciate the love. Let people know that we're live every Tuesday, 7:30 on all platforms. Also, shout out to Lego Heads. I forgot that last segment was shout out to you. Lego Heads Barber Saloon, located in Berea, Ohio. Go there, get a beard shave. Don't get a shave. Just get a beard lineup and get a haircut like Mike. Get that side part. If I had hair, I would do that.
Oh, man, look at
And
that.
let Marlon know that we sent you. He sent us back. He sent Mike dropped me off some beard oil that I desperately needed. So thanks for that, Marlon. Tune in this Saturday, 10 o'clock. Mike, Gary, and Sam will be Actually, you're probably gonna be talking about the Ravens game, most likely, correct?
Yeah, the 4-5 Ravens at the 2-7 Cleveland Browns. It's gonna be
Don't
a good
worry,
game.
don't
It's
worry.
a 4:25 kickoff as well.
They made sure, the NFL scriptwriters made sure we played Lamar Jackson in week 2, and that Lamar Jackson was back in time for us to play him again after everybody else has brutalized that team. But don't worry, we don't get Tyler Huntley, we get Lamar.
Yeah, we get Lamar. Chad, you're going to be on the podcast this week-ish, you said? Is it Bernie River?
Oh yeah,
eventually?
tomorrow I'm going to be on Dog Chug.
Oh, Dog Chug. That's what it is. So Dog Chug, Chad's going to be on there talking Browns. So tune in and support. I'm going to set a reminder. What time is
I
that?
think it goes on 6:30
9:30
my
here.
time, so 9:30 Eastern time.
9:30. If you're a late bird,
Late
stay
nighter.
up and watch that. I'll probably be up laying in my bed, staring at the ceiling, watching. So again, thanks for your support, everybody. Much appreciated. Yes, $11 tickets at the game on Sunday. More cheap. It's cheaper than the food there. So go there and support the Browns. Hopefully they win. Until next week, guys. Go Browns.
Go Browns.
Go Browns.